Do you go into prayer judging its effectiveness by getting what you want? Is that how you measure successful prayer? I pray for this thing and God gives me exactly what I want. I have probably a controversial view. I don't believe in unanswered prayer. It's almost like that doesn't even go together for me. An unanswered prayer from God. And I really cringe every time I hear Christians talking about unanswered prayer. You get an answer. You don't like it. You don't like no. You don't like not yet. You don't like, oh, I got to go through all these challenges to get there. You don't like being perfected. You don't like the process. You don't want to wait. There's no such thing as an unanswered prayer from our God. And so when your theology is prayer works when I get what I want, that causes a fracture in your relationship with God and your perspective of who God is. It affects your belief. It affects your faith. The two things that Jesus says is required. I think this is the I don't know how to say it. It's probably the tricky side to deciding to follow Jesus and to believe in an almighty God. Yes, God is Father. Yes, Jesus is Savior and friend. Yes, he loves you and you can have this intimate relationship with him. But God is still God. God can do stuff and not tell you why. God can make decisions that make no sense to you and he does not have to report back to you why he did it. When Job went through all of those things, now we're reading it hindsight and we're like, man, why wouldn't God just tell him why he did it? He's like, I don't have to. I think we have to rediscover the majesty of God. We have to rediscover just his sovereign rule. Even though we're made in his image, we are not God. And when you try to put together some magic formula to manipulate God into doing the things that you want to do, you're trying to play God. That is a role only for him, and he will not allow anybody else to usurp his throne. That power is for him. He invites you into his plan, but at the end of the day, he is the one who leads and who rules. And so, effectiveness of prayer should be judged by being in his presence. Is that enough for y'all? To be in the presence of the King of the universe. What if he says no? Maybe he knows more than you know about the situation. With all this stuff that's happening in our country, I had a little tantrum, y'all. I was like, Lord, why is all the politics and news and stuff? I'm like, why is everything happening this way? And God was like, you don't know what I'm doing. You don't know what's going to happen. And that's what we find ourselves doing. When we get in situations, we try to figure out, oh, okay, this is probably going to happen. And if I prepare for it, I'll be ready for it. You have no clue what's going to happen in the next hour. So when that man comes to Jesus with his son, and he's like, if you can, he's like, if I can, all things are possible. All things are possible. I also selected this passage because I feel like it actually contains one of my favorite prayers. And that prayer is, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. I feel like most of us exist in that tension between I believe, but I believe, but I don't quite know if you're going to do all of that. And it's an uncomfortable space to be in. What I admire about this man is he acknowledged his unbelief, and then he gave it to Jesus. He said, help me. Help my unbelief. If you try to fake it till you make it, It's not going to work. You can't fake it and act like you believe. You really have to rely on God in everything, including your faith journey.